We will have a quick 10-minute presentation on Business Clinic and some of our new offerings by Mr. Rajashekharan, post which we will have the webinar by Professor Ashok Jhunjhunwala. Over to Mr. Rajashekharan.
So good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. So a quick overview about Business Clinic. In Business Clinic, we cover the 4 areas, which is plan, align, learn, and execute. In planning, we do business planning workshops for organizations over a 3-session period. And we also do a new thing called Business 360, about which we will talk to you a little later. And we do leadership coaching, business coaching, expert insights. All the leaders, all the advisors whom we have, they speak to our clients and then provide them the outside-in approach. And in consulting, we on various subjects, we consult them on short duration projects. We will share with you the details as we go along. Our value proposition is obviously timely, effective, and affordable. These are the 3 things we look at all the time. Yeah. And this is the founding team. That's me on top, Ram. Ram has also worked for over 20 years in several companies. He's a postgraduate from ISB Hyderabad. And the third person is Anush Rajshekharan. He runs a Mediterranean restaurant, and he's working with us now. Yeah. Business planning workshop is basically a 3-session workshop, where first part, we look at the external analysis and the internal analysis of a company, after which we arrive at the core competencies as sustainable competitive advantage, post which we look at the objectives, strategies, and action plan. So at the end of 3 sessions, organizations or small companies, get a business plan document, which they can follow through for a period of time. And Business 360 is a very, very new concept which we are launching now. What we do is like how we do 360 analysis for an individual. We have now developed a 360 for a business, where we speak to all the stakeholders in the company, understand what's going on well, is it aligned to the company's overall vision, and then you look at areas of immediate improvement. What are the areas where their strengths are, and what should they focus on the next 30, 60, 90 days. So this is something which we have launched now. And this is the details of this. First is an online questionnaire, then there is a report in the debrief session, and a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan. So this is something which will be very useful for many organizations, for startups, for MSMEs, or even large corporates. And coaching, I think, Ram and me are, leadership coaches, along with a couple of more coaches in Business Clinic. We do one-to-one leadership coaching over a 6-session, over 6 months. And we also do business coaching and team coaching. It's a clear alignment to organization goals and help the person perform better and better. Expert insights, as I told you, along with our advisors, we provide outside-in approach to many organizations, because what happens is, it's the frog in the well concept in most companies, that they only look inward. So we bring in that outside knowledge and information to these companies through our expert advisors. And consulting, which is the major part of the business, what we are doing now. First part is contact. The client reaches out to us through a mail or through some filling up a form. Then we have a couple of conversations with them over telephone and through mail to clarify any missing information. Then it's a 2-hour Zoom call we have with the advisor, the shortlisted advisor. In the 2 hours, we are able to provide them with very sharp action points, which they're able to carry through. And if they have any help, if they need any help on implementation, they come back to us subsequently too. Yeah. Accelerated programs are an extension of the consultation programs, where the consultation extends beyond a one session. Our focus areas today are business analytics, data-driven insights, R&D, innovation, supply chain, logistics, accelerating sales and revenue growth, market and distribution, and managing operations with lean costs. These are some of the areas where we help. And these are advisors. Ambika is a market research expert. Ongya Chaudhary is an operations expert. Atul Joshi is in distribution of fast-moving consumer goods. Chan He was the person who started the classmate business of ITC in John Stephen is head of HR from MRF. Krishnan used to work in Siemens, and he has a lot of knowledge on projects. Manoj Urmani on TQM and Total Quality Management. Muthu Kumaran, he is ex-Exim Bank of India. He's got a lot of insights on finance. And Rajan Srikanth, I think all of us know Rajan Srikanth. He's from Kerichu. He helps us. And Rajesh Srivastava is a well-known marketing guru in the country. He's written several books, and he's also helping us with several informations. And Ramesh Shankaran is a person who started a business from scratch, which has now become a 500 crore company. So on startups, he helps us. Ram, we spoke about. Sridhar, ex-Great Lakes, and he helps us on HR strategies. Subir, ex-Kevin Care, ex-ITC, ex-TCS. He was the head of TCS in supply chain. He's a supply chain expert. Dr. R. Subramaniam, Dr. K. Subramaniam is from Power Gear, where on outsourced innovations. Mr. Vaidiswaran, all of us know, is a popular person. He helps us with advice on legal and taxation. Virendra Sevak, ex-MD of Nestle, on strategy, on distribution, on sourcing. Dr. T.T. Srinath, an organizational development and leader. G.K. Suresh, ex-head of marketing of ITC. He has actually launched many products in India. Suresh is head of distribution and then Mr. Malayappan is an automobile expert who helps us with various aspects of in automobile industry. There's some challenges which we have worked, some companies have come to us asking us help to expand their business. So, we got the right expert and we were able to do it. The interesting thing is when doctor wanted us to help the footfalls in his clinic, we were able to, help him with social media strategies. Consumer product company wanted help in launch strategy. Chemical manufacturing company wanted in supply chain management. Software development company wanted help in, moving ahead with the product which they had developed. Like this, we have several consultations. What we have done in the last 7 to 8 months, we have done about 50 consultations or 50 sessions. Yeah. So as today we have gathered today for a webinar by Professor Jhunjhunwala. We feel that we need to give back something to the society and to the industry and corporate at large. Therefore, every month on the 15th, we host one webinar where people have come, renowned people like Professor have come here and spoken. We had Rajesh Srivastava, Dr. Subramaniam, Mr. Vaidiswaran, T.T. Srinath, Dr. Bala Balchandran, Mr. Gopalakrishnan, Sridhar Vembu, C.K. Ranganathan. All of them have come and spent time with us and spoken in our webinars. It's been an outstanding experience and people have benefited greatly in this. In addition to this, we also do what is called in one day in a month, maybe end of the month, we get 2 or 3 of our advisors to sit in on a power mentoring session. Anybody can walk in and ask any questions they have. So they're able to provide immediate solutions to small issues. Okay. So, okay, this is another interesting thing which you're doing end of the month. I think I'll request Ram to take it on from here and also the introduction of Professor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rajshekharan. Good evening, everyone. So we're launching an interesting certification program on experience marketing and management. As we all know, the world is moving away from selling products and services to actually selling experiences. So we have conducted a few sessions for some of our clients and with Professor Mr. Rajesh Srivastava, who is very well known in the marketing field in the industry. He was ex-CEO of J.K. Helene Curtis. He launched a lot of, he was part of the teams that launched a lot of famous alcohol brands in the country. So I'll just play a short video. We're doing this as 3-session program across 3 days, 29th, 30th, and 31st. We are trying to keep the cost as low as possible so that, as many people, as they want who want to get more understanding of this area can attend. So it's just 5,000 rupees plus GST per participant. We are doing it over 3 days, and at the end of it, we'll provide a certificate and also have a graduation ceremony. I'll just like to play a short video for you. So we will share this with everyone. We'll send an email with all the information, and also maybe over WhatsApp to anybody who wants to join. One second, I'll just share the PPT one. So today we are very glad to welcome Professor Ashok Jhunjhunwala, who has kindly accepted to address our webinar today on the topic of R&D and innovation to scale commercialization. Professor Jhunjhunwala is no stranger to us. We all know him. He's kind of considered to be like a father for the startup ecosystem in Chennai. He's a pioneer in nurturing partnership between industry and academia. And a prime example of that is the IIT Madras Research Park, which he conceived and built. So that's India's first university affiliated business park. And he has been developing products for, the masses, which are very technically advanced products, yet they are affordable in many areas like wireless in local loop, remote health monitoring systems, solar DC to homes, affordable electric vehicles, etc. He's really well known. He's mentored a lot of companies. In fact, he has incubated and nurtured more than 200 companies at IIT Madras. He heads the IIT Madras Incubation Cell and the Rural Technology and Business Incubator there. He heads the TeNeT group, TeNeT group, which has worked closely with industry to create a lot of innovative, affordable products. And he's won several awards. TiE conferred him the title of Dronacharya for his contributions to the cause of entrepreneurship in the country. He's also a member of the National Academy of Engineering, USA. He's a fellow of IEEE and World Wireless Research Forum. He's also a fellow of 4 S&T academies in India. He was conferred the highest civilian honor, Padma Shri in India. He's received a number of awards in India, including the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award, very prestigious award, Vikram Sarabhai Research Award, HK Firodia Award, Millennium Medal at Indian Science Congress, etc. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Professor Ashok Jhunjhunwala and thank him for accepting to kindly address us. Over to you, Professor. We are eagerly looking forward to hear you.
First, thank you very much. Before I begin, I want to make sure that you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Professor. Yes.
Yes, Professor.
And you are able to see me also. Interrupt me whenever you cannot. And as was pointed out, research and development and innovation to scale commercialization. And I'm going to talk about how can India do it. My email address is given. I was mentioning that, ashok@tenet.res.in. So if anyone writes to me, they will get response very quickly. Are you able to also see me while you are seeing the presentation?
Yes, Professor. Yeah.
Fine. Interrupt me whenever you want. So I think one of the points that everyone knows here is that India is a large consumer with 1.3 billion people and increasing per capita income. India is a large consumer of all kinds of goods. The problem is the large percentage of these goods are imported. And wherever it is made here, our industries carry out low value addition. What I have seen is that Indian industry largely import technologies. It is believed that technology can be done by others, not by us, and carry out some indigenization and assemble goods with some medium value addition. This is what by and large the trend is. And has been there, it has been changing a bit, but not very significantly. Now, it is not that, I think one of the important things that I want to point out that independent India built several very high quality educational science and technology institutions. Indian Institute of Science, IITs, ISER, IIMs. Here the faculty came from the best institutions around the world. They are amongst the best teachers. Their students have made mark all over the world. In Silicon Valley, in fact, our students are really heading our CXO of most companies. But our own focus in these institutes has been on basic R&D. Of course, it has been going on, increasing over years, but that's what it is. But by and large, I can say we have had minimal impact on industry in early days. There was little translation of R&D into products. and industry continued to import most of the technology. Therefore, impact on industry therefore gets limited to trained manpower and more for manufacturing and management and less for R&D. That is what, by and large, I will say, what our contribution over the years has been to the industry. What is the problem? Basically, we are doing R&D, but translating R&D to commerce is always a problem. It started with a situation that academia by and large believe the industry is not interested in R&D. They only want to import everything. Whereas industry believes that academia R&D is all about publishing. No products is possible. They don't understand what it makes. And there was this big gap between industry and academia. Breaking this stalemate started somewhere in mid-80s. And it started a little more from academia side with a vision to make a difference. We understood that if we want to really make a difference, we have to sell with the vision to the top management in the industry and not through the R&D. The R&D in the industry was very small, had limited budget, and as soon as we go there, they even look at us as competitors. But when we are able to go to the top management and so say, we will be able to help you make the products at lower cost, your royalties will be lower, your products will become more affordable. If we are able to sell that vision, very often the early partnership took place. Now, of course, I also realized that academia have to have commitment to work with industry to do whatever is required to get the product to market. And that was largely missing. It could do bits and pieces and sort of say rest industry could do. It started, this academia industry is when it sort of said, well, industry will do what it is capable of. We will push ourselves and make sure that we fully complement each other. And we realize that it requires a regular formal, informal interaction. It is not an easy task. And this is what started in late 80s, 90s, slowly. We also learned that there are two technology translation mechanisms. One, when you make a product, license technology to established companies. Now, whenever we make a product, the product's technology are rarely fully ready. It will be working. It will be, in many ways, could be a good one. But it often requires efforts to convert this into a product. Basically, something which is manufacturable, something which works 24/7, something which is acceptable to customer, and something which makes money. These aspects that I'm talking about, academia by and large did not understand. And it is here some of us had to make efforts to try to understand that and push industry, and industry has to really complement. And unless you are perfect complementing, things don't go well. Now, this we have been doing now quite a bit for last 25 years, constantly increasing. We have been learning more, industry has been learning more. But there are still disruptive products which are not Me Too products, which are very different from the existing product, a new area. And we find that industry is still not willing to take enough risk. And that's the place where we sort of said, well, if industry is not willing to take risk, we will incubate a startup, and maybe startup will take risk, and we should be able to get there. So we actually came up with these two mechanisms. One is licensing technology to established companies, and another was to work to create a startups. We also learned that what about our R&D cost, our development cost, that by and large, developing technology, serious product takes long time, large funding, and carry high risk. Now, what we found out that whenever technologies require long time, large funding, and high risk, never tie up with industry right in the beginning. Carry it out don't expect industry to fund it. Industry will rarely fund long time, large funding, and carry out high risk. So in that case, you work it in R&D lab of academic institution, largely with government and complemented with some public and CSR funding, till it reaches a certain stage and it is ready to be commercialized. It is only then you should either license it to the company, or you should incubate a company. Not too early. If you do it too early and you expect that large funding can come from an incubated company or even from an industry, we have seen that doesn't happen. So we have learned that you do work, you work for 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, get to a certain stage, you get almost ready. That's the time you either license the technology or create a incubator company. Of course, we have also found that we have got the potential entrepreneurs could work with us in R&D lab from the beginning, and at the right time, they would, initially we'll pay them some minimal amount, they will be our research associate, they'll do it. At the right time, you set up the company and get out. This is something that we have learned. So what was our lessons over the years? We found that innovation takes place when 3 sets of people gets together. We say faculty member. The faculty member has a huge width of knowledge. And width of knowledge plays a very important role in innovation. Very often, something that they had seen in a totally different area becomes applicable in another area. This width of knowledge is the basis on which our innovation can take place. It also required invariably industry person who knows how to manufacture and sell the product. Otherwise, it will stop at prototype. So we needed this industry person to always work together. And the third person that we needed was a youngster who does not know that it cannot be done. If I take an experienced person, they will say it cannot be done. Whenever we came through breakthrough ideas, say it cannot be done. If you hire a youngster, if you get a youngster who does not know it cannot be done and is therefore ready to work 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, trying to figure out a solution, work very hard for 6 days a week, that's where real innovation takes place. No innovation takes place without this hard work. So what did we do? We first experimented with this at IIT itself. And gradually we found that, yes, we are able to do this. And that's the time we took the next step and said, we will set up a research park. We had 2 components. We had the faculty member with the width of the knowledge. We had youngsters who we could hire or who were there as students. We did not have this experienced industry person. So what did we do? We set up a research park. This is outside IIT Madras. This is a Section 8 company. We created this infrastructure. We built a bridge between IIT Madras and this research park. And we invited industry to come and set up their R&D. Industry will set up their R&D in the park, and they will be obligated to work with IIT Madras. That's an interesting thing that we created. Once they are obligated to work with IIT Madras, we were able to get all the 3 sets of people together, the industry, the faculty member, and youngsters. And this is how the whole thing actually grew. We have today a 1.2 million square feet research park, plus a 250,000 parking lot. We spent 500 crores, largely borrowed money from the bank. And we have been there for 10 years. We have mostly paid the loan. I think we have something like 22 crore rupees still pending. And we make cash profit 35 crore. It houses about 100 R&D companies. And these companies, in their contract itself, there is an obligation to do R&D with IIT. If they don't do R&D with IIT, they are thrown out. This kind of creation has resulted in huge industry academia working together. What happens is that very often industry makes a variable salary of its staff in or senior management who are located at a research park, dependent on the work that they do at IIT, the credits that they earn, and that results into huge push from their side. Similarly, we have created a push on IIT side, and we are breaking the barriers gradually. So this is what is going on here in a very big manner. At the same time, we also set up our incubators out here. Our incubator, IITM Incubation Cell, was set up in the same research park, and while the research park itself makes a cash profit of 35 crore, the incubator itself consists of rural technology and business incubator, medtech incubator, and biotech incubator. It has 210 companies. The current value of these 210 companies is 7,000 crore rupees. And incubator itself has a 600 crore, sorry, this is a mistake. Incubator has about 100 crore rupees worth of shares. So sorry, I think this is a mistake that I make. I am correcting it. Incubator itself has a 100 crore rupees worth of shares in these companies. Yes, value could be very, very large. So this is what we have been able to create. The research park on the one side and incubator. The important thing is these two things have a relationship with IIT Madras, but there is not a single government employee sitting in these places. There is no government funding that comes to either of them. And we are totally independent, driven by industry, our alumni and others, and we are making a huge difference one after another. IITM's incubation cell towards technology-based innovation. We actually do not focus much on e-commerce and financial technology. We do work on financial technology when AI is significantly involved. Otherwise, we do not focus on e-commerce and financial technology. What we work is on deep tech innovation, because deep tech innovation is still lagging behind in the country. And this is where we want to, deep tech innovation involving higher risk, longer life cycle is what we are creating. And it is in this area that we are trying to create unicorns. And we are doing very well. As I told you, 200 company, 7,000 crore rupees valuation before the COVID, and we are moving very, very rapidly. We have one of the best board. We have industries who on our board. And as I pointed out, financially we are very strong. We have a very beautiful place. We have huge energy, huge R&D is going on, and a lot of commercialization goes on. It is at this point that we started reflecting what next. So this deep tech incubator has actually companies in every engineering discipline, from waste management, financial tech, livelihood, water treatment, to AI, analytics, manufacturing, robotics, every area. And there are, I mean, there are no awards that our companies don't. Almost every awards are swept by our companies. It is here we started reflecting, all right, this is last 10 years of work. What do we do next? So we started planning for the next 10 years. And what I wanted to do is this, present what we want to do in the next 10 years. Extremely ambitious, and it is here that I need your help. And once Rajshekhar told me what this is, I said, I'd love to present this and say, where does India need to go over the next 10 years? And where can IIT Madras Research Park and Incubation Cell take us? How do we do this? So we are very clear that we want to make a difference to the nation. Our objective is we don't import all the technology. We actually start creating technology. We're not against imports of anything like that, but our dependence is what we are opposed to it. And therefore we have come up with a program, and I'm going to talk about each of these programs. Scaled commercialization of innovative technology, incubate and accelerate scale up, cultivate high quality engineering talent in India, make them among top 1% technologists globally in their fields, and set near impossible goals for India in five areas and prepare to achieve them. Now, I want to go into each one of them and get into detail what we really want to do. Goal 1 is scaled commercialization of innovative technology. What do we want to do? We want to see that we want to create 1,000 crore rupees product companies. Not one, many. We want to do this year after year, several of them. And what we are saying, any stakeholder, whether it is internal or external stakeholder, any IIT Madras faculty, any research park staff or scientist, incubation cell person, startup, we have centers of excellence, any industry client, any industrialist in or around Chennai or I'll say anywhere in the country, scientists, technologists, researchers, comes with a technological breakthrough and they wants to take the product and technology for commercialization. That's where their desire is. But suppose they do not want to, they do not know how to do it. We will like to enable and handle innovators with resources which we will create, support and strategy towards scaled commercialization. Once we come across such people and they want to do it, we are saying it will become our role to somehow make them win. And win is when you can get 1,000 crore rupees or 500 crore rupees revenue, not valuation. The key thing is, because India, it will make a difference if you can create enough of these companies' valuation. How do we do this? What we want to do is very quickly, in about a week's time, 8 days, 10 days time, we assess maturity of the proposed technology or product. Is it sufficient mature that it can be taken with some effort? Is there a sufficient market potential? And can this product really sell in the market? We want to understand what the margins for this will be. Will it really sell in the market? And we'll also measure the commitment and capability of the innovators. If we find, by and large, in all these three areas, the innovators are reasonably okay, we will then take up between the incubation research park and our select mentors. It is our responsibility to help the incubator succeed. We'll, in 7 to 10 days, we will decide to accept, defer or reject the supporting the innovator. Once we accept, it's our responsibility. If we find that, yes, the idea tech is in early stage and requires further R&D before we can really do anything, we will even connect them to a suitable partner. But once we accept it, success will always be that of the innovator, failure will always be ours. That is the slogan that I want to give to my team. Success will always be that of the innovator. But failure will be ours. We will do whatever is required, Research Park will do to make them win. We have to identify the right commercialization strategies. Idea is to make the product sell to 1,000 crore. There can be different commercialization strategy. The one can be license the technology to established products. It's a mature technology. Established companies are there. They know how to take the product to 1,000 crore rupees. We license it and help them. That would be one way. Other is build a startup with involvement of the innovator and take it to 1,000 crore, say, revenue. A third is somewhere in between. Partner with the existing startup or MSME based on the strengths that partners built in. We find the innovator is not all that strong, but is good. We find the right partner and maybe together take this company to sell the product. We are not talking about valuation of the company. We are talking about 1,000 crore rupees product. It involves a lot of things. It involves figuring out market and business economics. It will involve product design and productionization. Prototype may be there, but product design and productionization may be required. It may involve developing the right partnership with whichever company. It will involve funding, cash flow, working flow management. It will involve organization building. It will involve multiple other things. And we will have teams which will help them get there. The question is, how do we begin? Who can help? The key thing here is a set of senior mentors who have done it. Maybe some retired industry CXOs, who can help out, work out strategy. We may have technology partnership with IIT faculty and other scientists. We may leverage consultancy companies who may tell us how to do it, who may work with us in how to do it. We'll of course bring in VCs and financial institutions. There we have a very strong tie-up already. We'll build the right partnership and we will develop this. We have a very, very large alumni and industry network. Our idea is, and it will be our challenge. The people who we get this to do this task, our challenge to somehow make this work. And we believe that we should do, as years go by, we should do 5 to 7 companies every year, reaching 1,000 crore. Once you reach 500 to 1,000 crore, then others will drive it. But getting to 500 crore rupees or 1,000 crore will be our task. Product companies, this will start making that India can develop products and scale the product. And I'm talking about getting into this market even in India, and then of course it has to go international. That is a task number 1 that we are taking, and in next 10 years we are saying we will make this possible year after year. The task number 2 or goal number 2 will be incubate and accelerate startup. Enable our ecosystem to emerge as a natural leader, driving incubation innovation across the country without imposing ourselves. Why am I saying that? Today we incubate about 50 companies a year. We are saying that we should become the natural leader of incubation ecosystem in India, and we will get to 100 campuses across India where incubators are not strong. If they're already strong at some place, well, we will not go there. We will go to private institutes. There are large number of private colleges, there are large number of youngsters, and we believe good companies can come out from there. There are state universities, public universities, colleges, incubators without educational incubators. We believe that we can get to 100 such campuses and we can scale to 1,000 companies a year. What kind of partnership? And the question that I answer, why will they partner with us? Well, they will partner with us if they have the confidence that we will enhance their chances of success, and yet they will get credit as much as we will. This is very important, that very often we are senior only in one way. We are senior that we will spend all the money, we will get equal equity and equal reputation. We will select the incubators that will come there. We'll help them create the incubation program. We will start with, I have learned that you start by creating excitement among students. But right after you create excitement and the people want to get into entrepreneurship, you have to do just the reverse. We have to de-hype. We have to bring them to reality and say, entrepreneurship is not an easy job. You will fail, and succeed. And you should have the ability to fail, and succeed. You have to work much harder than when you go and take up a job. We'll have to create that situation. And from there comes the right incubators. And then we will handhold them and get them to take all the way. So 100 incubators, we like to get to 1,000 startups, and hopefully we can get 100 unicorns. Adopt a collaborative approach involving mentors, senior industry person, faculty, and startups. We will provide them product and technology support, whether it's involved design, simulation, prototype, mentoring, building IP, validation, certification, all that will be located here, and they will have full access to it. Commercialization support, mentoring, go-to-market strategy, customer validation, team building, scale-up plan, funding support. We will help them get the finance. We will provide them networking support. We will have a startup engine platform. I'll talk more about it, through which actually we'll monitor and make all this possible. We'll provide them directed training. The goal is 1,000 startup. One stop, we are building a one-stop platform which will empower entrepreneurs and startups in understanding and managing their business functions more effectively. We have learned that a young entrepreneur has to do everything. They have to manage their finance, they have to manage their cash flow, they have to do the product development, they have to do the marketing, they have to manage their HR, and these multiple things is rarely possible. So our objective will be, we will create a platform through which we will be able to help them manage it, and we, along with the mentors and board members, continuously give them the right push to collaborate with them to win. We'll enable our monitor progress at all stages. What is going on? Where are things failing? And find the right support wherever required. And real-time data-driven reviews by stakeholders who take informed decisions. This will, the startup board members, mentors, incubators, and others will bring them together. Actually, the company will succeed when all these people work together. And our objective will be, and we have done this in a small way, but we have done it for 50 companies. Now we like to do it for 1,000 companies a year. Program number 3, we are calling it making of a rancho. You know, India is well known, and I think many of you probably are, very high quality management people in India. India is known that it has created very high quality management people. But if you look at really engineering talent, to be counted as top 1% of technologists in their own area, the numbers are very few. It is this which is our weakness of India. And this is what prevents us from really going in the direction that we are talking about. So the goal number 3 that our research park incubation will take up is to making a rancho. And the rancho name, I'm fairly certain you know, came from the 3 Idiots movie, where there is a person who was really a top technologist. So we are talking about creating top 1% technologist. How do you go about doing it? We have 2 million engineering graduates every year from tier 1, 2, 3, 4 engineering colleges. You know, our IIT students actually are very hyped. They are not going to really be, many of them will not become like this. They will go to management much more quickly. They will go to finance job. Some of them may come here. We believe that there are lots and lots of people in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 colleges. Not the toppers. The toppers will again go do the same thing. But as I will point out now, it will be the people who are between 6 points and 9 points. They want to do technical work. They have not learned technology in their colleges. We are going to teach them technology, motivate them to work long hours, diligently, 70 hours per week, learn from each other, get inspired. Huge learning is possible. Transform these youngsters into high quality technologists. Imbibe creativity, innovation, organized effort to transform Indian youth. We are talking about in 10 years, we will take 2,000 such people year after year and get them into this pipeline. Basically, you need to provide them very challenging R&D employment. Challenge them to realize their true potential, become amongst the best. We have to figure out those who are going to really go for becoming technologists versus those who are largely going to go towards earning money. Those who want to go for money, great, let them go for it. They'll do well. We want to see those who will go for technologists. Enroll them for part-time MS or PhD and start with 50 people a year, go to 300, then to go to 1,000, can 2,000. And the goal will be at least 20% of these people will be in top 1% globally in their domain. Another 25-30% will be good, but not in top 1%, maybe in top 5%. And probably 30 to 40% will drop out. It will be a program where we really motivate them to become the best. And we have done it. In my own group, we have created 50 such people for the last 20 years who are the top 1% today, better than that. And I think we can do that. And we like to do this in a scaled manner so that all over the industry, you will find top class technologies. That is what India requires, and that's what we will go to achieve that. Goal number 4. In 5 areas, we will set up near impossible goals. And I won't say in 10 years we'll achieve that, but in 10 years we would have done sufficient work so that those visible, those near impossible start becoming possible, making mission possible. I think that's what we need to do. Create a plan to transform India in 5 sectors, to take leadership in these sectors. We should be in the top 3 to 5 in the world in these. We know we have to work on policy level, technology level, industry level, and implementation level. We'll identify these strengths based on IITM strengths or complemented by our capable incubated startup or industry partners at Research Park. It has to have potential to make large impact in the country and the world. Identify leaders, faculty, and industry partners, not just technical, but leadership strengths, and then help such leader drive the program. Help him or work out stage-wise program. Find mentors, advisors. Establish government connects and influence policies towards this. Mobilize industry and R&D in IITM and wider IITM ecosystem. One of the potential area where we are wanting to work is making India fossil-free future and with circular economy so that every single thing that is used is recycled. This is something that, since it's my area, I know this is possible and we can make that impact over the next 10 years. So the question is, this is towards my last part of my talk. This is very tall order. The question is, can we do it? I am absolutely certain we can do it. Now, why I'm pointing out that when we started this research park and incubation cell 10 years back, and I said that we would like to do it without government funds and without government control, and we will find money, I'll borrow money. Fortunately, I was on the board of State Bank of India, so I had enough contacts, somehow managed to do that. What we have created in last 10 years shows us that impossible is possible. And therefore, the goals that you're seeing, at least 4 of the goals that I've put here, look impossible goal. And I believe we can certainly do it. All that it requires is that recognize that you're doing it for the country. Recognize that it will make a huge difference to the nation. Find people who will similarly be inspired and just refuse to give up. Refuse to give up. We'll have many, many failures, but we will take those failures on the chin and we will continue and win. What will we need? We will need 1,000-member inspired team. I believe that we will need about 1,000 mentors and advisors who will be partnered to this. They have to believe in it as much as we believe in it. And they will come from alumni, industry, faculty, independent thinkers, mature startup founders, and people like you who want to take this up. I think many of you are in your 60s, maybe some of you are even early 70s. This is a mark that you can leave in this world. This is something that you can make India stand up. And India needs to stand up. It is a huge talent. When I talked about this, I have seen that students from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 college, coming from small town, rural areas, people who don't do well, 8-pointer, 7-pointer, 6-pointers, and we have made them into a rancher. There's a huge talent. We just need to get them and direct them in the right direction. We are currently in the process of hiring 15 high quality persons, around 40 years, to do this impossible. And we'll push them really hard. We'll motivate them. And they'll have to put everything to do this. 15 may become 25, 30, I'm not bothered. And they will just do it. They will have no option but to do it. They will have to work very, very hard. They will fail and next morning get up again. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, sir, I will say that basically I've learned this from Gita, that you get a failure, fine, or Gandhiji. Next morning you get up, all the disappointments, you take it, sleep with that. Next morning, you're back to your karma. Your karma is to make this work, make this happen. And they will have to leverage the mentor. I'm looking at creating a 1,000-member team to get there. And I don't see any reason why we will not get there. And this is what we want to do. And if we do this, it will transform India. We'll leverage 100 institutions, incubators. We'll leverage alumni of IITs, IIMs, and other institutions. Experienced industry persons like you, scientists, faculty of lead institutions. We will get in this 1,000 at least 50 IAS, IFS officers, active and retired, IPS officers I should add. We'll get angel investors and VCs. I'm going to ask each one of them to think for the country and say we should get there. We'll get consultancy companies, industry association, alumni centers at IITM RP, select NGO. Do I have a formula to do this? No. Do I have the guts to do it? Yes. And I think we'll get there. Thank you very much. And simply because we need to win, simply because India needs to win, and we will. That's all. Thank you. And I'll stop here and take the questions.
Thank you so much, Professor Jhunjhunwala. Very, very inspiring indeed, and so much for each one of us to take away, irrespective of wherever we are in our journey. Before we start Q&A, we're very honored to have Professor Bala Balachandran with us here. Doctor, if you could, say a few words and then we'll go to Q&A.
Yeah, Bala is in US.
Yes.
I know that. And I don't know when he joined. I wish he had joined in the beginning. But Bala can play a major role in making this vision possible.
Ashok, thanks a lot. Joined about 7 or 8 minutes late, that's all. Because it's 5:30 my time, early morning. But it is an honor to be with you. See, the most important thing, in my opinion, is you said the leaders, mentors. And I really feel, with a phenomenal school like IIT Madras, my younger brother Sinu Srinivasan was a graduate of 1966. And I am a big fan of IIT because I was a IIT reject. So anyway, but I went to statistics honors because my father wanted that way. But anyway, doesn't matter, but I became an engineer later on at US. So the point I really feel is that Chennai in particular have tremendous amount of talents. For example, the Chennai School of Mathematics or C. Rangarajan's thing, to a certain extent, Great Lakes. And with this kind of a team, I really feel the goals that you have set up in terms of the 1,000 crore, the 10 unicorns, all of them are possible. But the point is, if you are able to create a culture in the entire Chennai environment, as you correctly said, the group of three types, an industry guy, an academic faculty type guy, and at the same time a youngster who can even catch a snake without knowing whether it is a snake or a snake gourd, that kind of a guy, anything he can do. So if you make these three some combination, in not only in IIT Madras, but if you connect all of them with the group of the industry people are common. The industry people are engineers. They have an obligation and as well as a goal to create value to the stakeholders or shareholders. And so with galvanizing the industry people, I think the academic institution can be, I will put the industry people as the sun in the planet system, and the different 7 or 6 groups of institutions combined together and create a cluster of talent in these days of multidisciplinary scheme, so that disruptive technologies, disruptive business models, as well as disruptive culture can be created. I think this COVID is giving us a big opportunity also, and crisis management. And I really feel every person in the industry should start thinking about being an entrepreneur simultaneously as a group of 3 or 2. So this is the reason is essentially what we are going to see in the future, I'm not sure. But being ready for that like a Japanese, I think the entrepreneurial spirit should be nurtured. I think all these institutions can do that and make sure that everyone has a standby opportunity to be an entrepreneur with a team of partners, with an appropriate mentors. I think that will be a great thing for India. I think people like you, Ashok, I will, though I am older than you, I will work with you, for you, and make sure we can do some remarkable thing because of the synergy that we can build in. That's all I want to say.
So Great Lakes people will be coming hopefully next week. They can be our first partner out of the 100 colleges that we are talking about.
And once we do that, we can even bring some amazing Nobel Prize winners and things like that all over the world. Come to Chennai for not to one lecture, but for a month with the spouse. And we will give them opportunities to have a good life so that they keep on repeatedly come back to Chennai. I would not even go to India as a whole because it is too much to swallow. But Chennai or surrounding of Chennai, 30 miles radius, let us say.
Sir, in this seminar, there are people from all over India, and I am going to look for partnership from all over India. It doesn't matter if you are sitting at Gurgaon or at Chennai, or sir, you are at US right now. I think we will have you as a partner in making these dreams possible. You can be critical. You can say, do it this way. We are very willing to listen. Can learn. But idea is to create enough energy for India to win. It is us. We are not important. India is important.
No, that is exactly what it is. But if there is some political thing and whatnot, I want to get started instead of going for committee and representative.
So we will keep government out of this.
I don't want government.
We will keep governments out of this. Today, not a single government employee, see you missed right in the beginning, not a single government employee is there in the IIT Madras Research Park or incubation cell.
That is music to my ears. Because
we don't take 1 rupee from government. You missed out the beginning portion where we talked about that we are totally independent of government. Sir, I have worked in a government institution for so long. If you depend on government, you cannot achieve big things. Sorry to say that, sir. I know some of you have worked in government and may contradict me, but really big things are achievable only if you are Not caught in the government.
And I am amazed by your courage. I am not that courageous, so I don't want to say anything more. But we got to get things done. Synergy with energy. That's it. We'll do it.
Okay. Others, can we
Yeah.
have questions, comments?
Yeah, request everyone to
Professor,
please. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Ashik, please.
So, Professor, first of all, let me first thank you for the, energetic speech, in the sense, and more importantly, one thing I want to tell you, Professor Bala and me have been exchanging mails ever since he got to know that you are speaking. I want to attend. But then today afternoon, or I think late today, early morning, I got a mail from him saying that it's going to be 5 p.m. in India. It's going to be very early for me. Still, I thank him for attending and, conveying some excellent. Sir, my own take from your thing is, it is possible. Nothing is impossible. Let me tell you from my own limited experience, May 2020, we started this small thing called Business Clinic. We got all of us got together, 20 advisors from across fields, and now we are consulting on any subject that we had. So let me assure you, the team from Business Clinic, the 25 odd advisors, plus many more who are there, we'll all be there to support you in your endeavor. We will work out a way in which we can work together, sir. And
Thank you.
We will definitely do it, sir, and we'll definitely do it. Ram, maybe we can open it questions. I think.
I want to say that if Hanuman Vihari and Ashwin could withstand those Australians for one full day, we certainly can do it.
Sure, sir.
Okay, can I make one comment?
Yes,
Professor
sir.
Ashok, yeah,
Yes.
I've been in industry, not so much in education, besides taking few lectures in BITS Pilani and IIT Roorkee. What I find is the biggest mistrust between the two. I believe you have tried to walk a lot of distance in creating that mistrust out. And I think what you could do, as Raj was mentioning, a lot of us have been in industry in various different fields. And what we need to do is to choose the areas where we could be of help.
Yes.
And then it will become easier. I don't know whether Raj can drive this to have a smaller forum or a smaller grouping and by section, because our expertise, Raj knows, goes into many, many areas. You can split it into the areas and then you can choose the project which you have, like you divided into the 3 categories, and to pick up one of these, and then you can keep a smaller committees to work on it, to help you out to draw up a formal plan.
Yeah, sure.
And then we could implement it.
Thank you.
Mr. Malayappan had a question.
I just have one comment on that. Initially, when Professor was explaining the thinking from the industry as well as in the academic area, he had a few points. He said that academic area, they publish only papers, and industry thinks like this about the institutions. But one more addition to it, which has been my experience, that whatever we want to do with the academic institutions, we feel that they take a long time to execute it. Okay, and industry wants everything, the same day.
Yesterday,
In fact. So, and that speed element has to be brought in. Once the speed element is brought in, then obviously things will really fall in place. My own experience of interacting with IIT Chennai in a different area also, I felt like, okay, they do a very good job, no question about it. They did an excellent job. When I did product development in Breaks India, I interacted with brought in professors from IIT Chennai to look at it, and then they immediately said, oh, this is this problem. Okay, but there's a problem. And after that, addressing the problem took its own time. Whereas we are under tremendous pressure to bring the product to market. Immediately we want to bring the product to market.
agree with you, sir. Generations have changed. I think after coming to Research Park, after the birth of Research Park, this is changing.
That's the only thing I want. I want to interact with you. I would immediately send you an email, and I'll seek your appointment. I'll come there. We'll discuss a lot of ideas that I have, that we can basically exchange ideas, and then we'll see where that takes us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Padma Kumar, you had this question. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask?
Sure. So, are you able to hear me? Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes, Mr. Padma Kumar. Yes.
Sir, first of all, Professor Jhunjhunwala, this was a very, very uplifting, very energetic vision, and it is really refreshing to hear this kind of a vision. And we'd all love to see this happen, obviously. My question to you is, from your perspective, what have been the three major obstacles so far in not being able to realize this kind of a vision? And how can we all put our shoulders together to address specifically the top three obstacles that we need to address?
Sir, my belief is that everything has a time. And you have to take the step after step before you can jump. Unless you get to some stage, you cannot jump. My personal belief is a lot of change was done in India in 1991. And from there, we started learning to stand on its own feet. You know, in 82, 83, I actually found out that there are only 100 engineering colleges graduating less than 20,000 students. With so little engineering talent, we couldn't get anywhere. Today, we have 4,000, 5,000 colleges graduating 2 million students. Quality is a problem. That's all right. That's up to us to fix. You know, the whole IT industry benefited from that. And IT industry has done already. Of course, they are doing services. I think over time has come for us to become stronger. Concepts like this IIT Madras Research Park came up, incubation cell came up. You know, in early 90s, when I started doing some of this work at IIT Madras, a very senior faculty who I looked up a lot, he was really my mentor, came and told me, Ashok, you are doing something wrong and it will hurt IITs. I told him, sir, what am I doing? What have I done wrong? He says, you know, this is the place to worship Saraswati. IIT Madras is an educational institute meant to worship Saraswati. And we have always worshipped Saraswati. You are bringing in Lakshmi here. And Saraswati and Lakshmi do not get along well with each other. And you will hurt IIT. I was taken aback because his analogy was very, very interesting. But over time, I kind of realized that, you know, always the objective of knowledge is to create wealth for the society, for the people of the society. And knowledge cannot in itself be in the end. And if I looked around the world, we saw this happening so much. And that's the reason they are moving ahead. So with that confidence, I started sort of saying, no, sir, you may be right, but I think we will make sure that we will create wealth for the society, for the nation, for the society. And this is what we started doing. And gradually, initially it was 1 or 2 or 5 industries will work. Today, thousands of industries work with us. So I think the 3 obstacles that you are talking about, I'll say the obstacle is whether we believe we can do it. I think that's the biggest obstacle. If we do not believe we can do it, we will fail. Second is, will we rally around enough people to believe that we can do it? If we do not create 1,000 mentors and 1,000 believers who will work hard, we will fail. So if we don't believe we will fail, if 1,000 people do not believe we will fail, if we do not tap our youngsters. So the biggest thing in India is large market and talented people, youngsters. Talented youngsters which may not be, their talent may be suppressed, their talent may be inside. You have to take it out. You have to make it come out. That's the third obstacle. I think these 3 obstacles are there. First, we have to believe. Number 2, we'll get enough people to believe. Number 3, rally around enough youngsters and make them start working hard. Then nothing will stop us.
Thank you so much, Professor. Mr. Pradeep Doble wants to say something. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Ram. Professor, that was very, very inspiring.
You're mute.
You're not able to hear?
Yes, we are able to hear.
Sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was a very inspiring articulation of the vision that you have put in front of us, and you gave a skeleton of how to go about achieving as well. So it's a very, very impressive. My question to you is, somewhere in your communication, you mentioned that the IITians want to go to IIMs and get into management and business areas, and they all want to become CEOs. So keep them aside and let's go to second-tier engineering colleges. And within that also leave the toppers aside, go to the 6-pointers, 7-pointers, those kind of people, and then try and groom them and try and make them ranchos. Now, let me share with you that the industry to some extent tried to do the same thing.
Yes.
Because we also realize that all these IITIMs want to finally become, everybody wants to become a CEO of the company, if not at least a CXO. So who is going to handle the hardcore technology, you know? So we tried doing this. Now, what happens is when the guy is, incubated, trained the way you're planning to do, once he achieves that kind of expertise, he's very much in demand by industry. So how are you going to motivate to keep him here? Because if industry will always look for these kind of talent, and they will pay him 3 times the salary and take him away. So how are you going to get that motivation from him to stick to the path that you are wanting him to do? That's my question, sir. One more thing I want to add, because even the societal recognition, not just what the companies recognize, even the societal recognition is more for these CXO titles than a rancho, because it was Amir Khan. It's a different thing in a movie. But if you ask your parents, you want your son to become a CEO or a R&D head somewhere, they want him to become a CXO, not R&D head. How many companies in India have a genuine R&D guy on the board? There will be a board member responsible for R&D, but mostly he won't be a hardcore R&D guy. Sorry.
So you are very right. You are very right. I think the trick is in numbers. That's the reason I'm saying 2,000 per year. We will do countrywide. We can do 10,000, 20,000 per year. If you do enough numbers, even if some of them go, let them go. It's all right. There are enough. And this will multiply. So once, of course, giving them the right respect and this thing, that's the reason I need this 1,000 of you, sir, who understands that this is the weakness of India, who understand that this is what we need to create a hype on this program. Sorry, sir. We have to create a hype in this program. The person who is going to be in this program today, as I told you, I have created myself 50 such people who are between 0.1% to 1%. And some of them have gone abroad, some of them are here. I think we need to create enough of them. We have to learn to respect them. The industry has to pay them well. Why should they not be paid well? They should, but they are not, sir, they are not really running after money. In fact, one of my person who is a rancho, he actually came and joined us as a diploma person. And today he's one of the best circuit designer that I have. And I will be saying that he will be certainly among the top 1% circuit designer in the world. Now, I asked him, he says, sir, within 15 days to a month, when I recruit a new person, in 15 days to a month, I'm able to tell, is this person going to run after money and therefore only going to train and run away? Or is this person is going to run after knowledge? We have to continuously challenge them. Knowledge never stops. The knowledge is exponential.
Professor Ashok, yes. I would like to add what Pradeep is saying. You know, what we have seen in many projects in Nestle, I can talk about my company, I worked for 26 years. You need to create a group with varied experiences in a smaller group. You will get better results. Yes, you see, what Pradeep is trying to tell you, like, you know, when you make a project, you need a sales guy, you need a marketing guy, you need a supply chain guy, you need a finance guy, and you will need a production guy, right, and a planning guy. Now, when you put these people together and you come to the project, you will get a much faster results. You know, you believe me, you know, how hard you try, a sales guy will never become a business guy.
Yes,
But I have done
so,
this and it never works. So the point for you is to look at this group of right talent, which I agree with you, you know, whether they come from a small town, big town, Ahmedabad, IIT, that doesn't matter. But a group of small town for a project and you will get better results. That's, I
yes,
think
sir.
Pradeep is trying to make that point, right, Pradeep?
Yeah. So an enterprise or an incubated company has to have all these talents. And we recognize that. However, what is often missing is the technical strength. Technical person remains mediocre. We want a top class technical person. And again, sir, if you can come, I know you are in Gurgaon. I can see from your coat that you must be in the cold place.
Yeah.
But think of those farmers who
Yeah,
are
it's
sitting
cold there.
outside,
Yeah.
sir. Farmers who are sitting outside. So I said, it's fine. I think we have to suffer this. We have to work to be like that. And I think you come and visit us. You will see the kind of inspiration that we create, the kind of technologies that we are able to create. The technologies is often missing. Then we say the technologies has to come from outside the country. We want to create our own technologies. Rest, sir, you people have already created. You have created very good management talent, very good sales people. Nestle has created very good sales people. He has created very good finance people. What is often missing is absolutely top class technical persons. And we are saying we will also train enough technical persons. That's all I'm saying. That's the making of a rancho.
I'll take this opportunity. Whenever I come, I will definitely drop in, sir. Thank you.
And I think Bala's school will, college will train salespeople and finance people. I'm not concerned about that. There are enough places. I will say even IITs do not create really technology guys. And that's the reason we are saying we'll take it out from the research part to create a rancho. IITs don't. IIT graduates go to management, go and become finance person or go outside the country. We are saying we will create top technologists who will stay in the country and make a difference.
I think, you know, his comment was we will put the technology person as a core or the nucleus, but we have to surround him or her with a group of people together. I think, and a small group. I think his point is amazing. If you make a big group, it won't work. If you make it one also, it won't work. The right model is anywhere between 3 to 5 and complementing and supplementing skills. That will make the guy, oh, here is a team, and they will be playing, you know, you cannot have only wicket keeper or only bowlers or only batsmen. I want all of them. I think it's a beautiful point, sir. I really.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Prabhat Saxena, you had something to share or ask. I saw you unmuting.
Yes, I would just like to thank Mr. Jhunjhunwala for the excellent and a very enthusiastic and energetic presentation. And at the same time, I would like to share something because I have handled a lot of R&D at international level and multinationals. One of the very basic core there is that you identify what you want to do. You identify the resources needed for it, whether it is for development, software, industrialization, or a mix of it. And then you have different gateways to analyze that where you will be making choices of technology, choices of production, and in what time this has to be launched. So I think so we will have to look at a pool of talent from where we can always pick up such specialists to be a part of the team for a specific development. That is what I wanted to share. And I think that is what needs to come up very effectively, because what I'm talking is the corporate way of developing. And then any large multinational, we have enough of pool, or we even go for licensing the technologies to make a quick R&D development.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Saxena. Professor Jhunjhunwala, I just wanted to just check with you on the time. Is it okay if we go on for another 5 minutes till 6:30?
No problem.
Sure, Professor. Thank you. Professor, there are actually a bunch of questions from people who registered also. And one of the questions they were asking is, many people face challenges in creating and sustaining a R&D or innovation-oriented culture within their companies. So they wanted some guidance from you as to how they could do it within their companies.
Sir, this is a difficult question because this is a very general question. It will depend on the specific situation, what they are doing, where they are succeeding, where they are not succeeding. If they want to write to me, email, I can possibly talk to them. But at a very general level, without knowing the specifics, what kind of advice can I give? I will only say one thing that I sometimes even tell my students. Something that I was taught when I was a student. I had Professor C.N.R. Rao, probably many of you know him, was my professor, and he used to give us a lecture. And he used to teach us half-life of an electron or half-life of particles. And he came with the concept that half-life, what is the half-life when 50% of whatever is there will die out? And so one little naughty student raised his hand and sort of said, "Sir, do you think the knowledge also has a half-life?" And he jumped at it. He says, "Yes, knowledge has half-life." And in fact, the knowledge is changing so rapidly that today half-life of knowledge is 3 to 4 years. And so immediately we asked him, "So sir, what is the point in then learning all this? Because by the time we graduate, half of what we have learned will be obsolete. What is a great point in learning all this?" So Professor Sinaro said, "Well, I'm actually teaching you not just teaching you something. I want you to learn to learn. Learn to learn. If you learn to learn, you will keep on learning throughout your life. And you will never be obsolete. If you don't learn to learn, if you learn specifics, yes, they will become obsolete. If you learn to learn, you will never be obsolete." I think this is what I have practiced throughout my life. Every year, I try to double of what I already know. And I think R&D guys practically all over have to do that. R&D succeeds when you create that hunger that every year you learn much more than what you know. And if the R&D group which does that, does well. R&D group which relies on what they have learned in the past fades away. I think creating the challenge, constant challenge has to be created for R&D. If you give one-time challenge, it fades away. Constantly challenging is something that we need to do. That's all I can say as a general, but specific questions I'll answer.
I think Shivaraman has put his hand up.
Yeah. So thank you, Professor. Mr. Shivaraman, would you like to?
Yeah, I actually had typing out the question, but Professor Ashok, I have a small viewpoint, which is a slightly digression from it's an extremely inspiring talk that you have given today, Professor Ashok. I've heard you many times, and I never miss an opportunity to hear you. And I must give one thought that comes to my mind, which I have discussed with some of my own classmates and some of the distinguished alumni from IIT Madras who have benefited from the IIT Madras curriculum of the earlier years. This engineering education coming from 5 years to 4 years for most part of the students has been some sort of an impediment, I think, in the learning of engineering in this country. What are your thoughts? And maybe at your level, you can do something about it also, sir.
Sir, you are asking me a very different question, and I'll give you my opinion. My opinion is all that we need to do at educational institutes is learn to learn. If we can learn to learn, as I pointed out, we'll continue to learn throughout our life. Actually, unfortunately, we are trying to teach too much at IITs. The curriculum is too large. And frankly speaking, most people just shut their mind off after some time. I'll say 70 to 80% of our students shut their mind off. Only 10 to 15% are learning much of what we are teaching. I really feel that we need to inspire, get them to learn smaller number of things well, and get them to figure out that you need to learn to learn. So 4-year, 5-year, sir, if the students are not attending classes or are chatting, sitting in the classes, doing their mobile phone and all that, what are you going to, you can keep them for another year. Is it going to make much of a difference? I don't think it is going to make much of a difference. 10 to 15% are basically get into academic area. They learn. We teach too much of mathematics, sir. We don't teach them to build anything. I am being self-critical that we fail to do things. We don't inspire them sufficiently. And that's all right. But sir, they graduate when they are 21 or 22. They have 45 more years to work, probably 50 more years. They'll learn. They are good, they'll learn. They learn when required. You have to, somewhere they have to be inspired. They have to push themselves. Who can, sir, win without working 14 hours a day? Does an IITian work on the average 7 hours a day? Maybe, certainly not more than that. So I will not say that a 5th year will make all the difference. What will really make them make a difference is 2 things. Learn to learn. See, that's the reason I'm saying that I'll take people from tier 2 college and a 7-pointer who has not learned a lot, but in 3-4 years they will become as good as 5 years. They will become as good as IITM.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Professor. There's a question from Mr. Abu Tahir, probably the last question for today, from semiconductor industry. Mr. Abu, would you like to unmute yourself and ask? Sorry, Mr. Abu, you'll have to unmute yourself again. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, Ram. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashok, Dr. Ashok. It was very inspiring presentation that you have given. Thank you so much. So I come from a semiconductor background. I work for a multinational company based out in Bangalore. So my question to you is, as far as semiconductor industry in India is concerned, this industry is predominantly dominated, by the product companies based out in India, but they have headquarters outside India, and a lot of products they do, and all the products are get manufactured outside India. And the business model mostly is dominated by the services business model. We do services for them, and it's not a complete product that targeting to the Indian market. And the question is, a lot of systems that we manufacture is outside India, and we pay taxes to import inside India, and we don't essentially target to the larger market, unlike what China is doing. So what do you see moving forward should be the business model for the semiconductor industry is concerned? It's going to be a huge market, I see, moving forward. Machine learning is coming up, artificial intelligence is coming up as well, and with 5G booming. In next 5 to 10 years is going to be a huge potential, particularly for the silicon chips for Indian market is concerned. But we are not moving into that direction, not from the support from the government as well for the fab installation. So what is your thought process on this? Thank you.
Okay. If you look at it, in last 15, 20 years, I would say, whether it is a TI or analog devices or pretty much any semiconductor company, their design houses are located here. The designs are being done in India. Before that, they were not even doing designs. They were doing very routine kind of work. I remember in mid-90s, we pushed saying, no, our people can do very good designs. And at least they were starting to do designs. Designing part today, India has huge skills. Number of them have come out and set up their own company. We are able to train enough youngsters to do good design. So design is not an issue. The problem comes then fabrication, sales, marketing, because unless you create a market of huge, so fab cost a huge amount. And trying to set up a fab, there has been work going on. Even now, government is talking about setting up a fab. I don't know where it will go. It is, unless you get very high volume, unless your chip sells in tens of millions or a million at least, or several 100,000, that chip cost is not going to compete. Fortunately, there are fab outside we will fabricate your chip. That is possible. What we need is to do system design first in India. Enough system design. For example, if I take this mobile phone, and if I'm able to design the complete mobile phone, and then I can actually ask that this chip I'm importing, can I design the, can I manufacture the chip also? Because if I build volumes of my product, then I command what can be. If you are not designing in India, everything comes CKD kind of thing. But if it is my design, I can say, if this chip is designed in India, I can get it fabricated and brought here. That will be step number one. So step number two. So step number one is design as many products as possible in India and manufacture, even if you have to import chips. Step number two is some of those chips you design in India, get it fabricated elsewhere, you build volumes. Once you build volumes, you have space set up for setting up a fab.
Okay.
If you don't set up, if your chips are not going to sell 100,000 numbers, what is the great point in putting a fab? It will lose money. Let us do enough designs. If we start designing enough products in India, therefore demand, we can therefore design in our chips vis-a-vis an imported chip. Then that chip itself has to be designed in India, which already is being done. We can get it fabricated elsewhere. Then we can go gradually, step by step. Maybe we will still get fabricated, but the basic IC fabrication can be done, but packaging can be done in India first. So these are, we have to do value add step by step. We are trying to do this with mobile phones now.
Okay, sure.
But it's a struggle. And unfortunately, the government policies, these are places where you depend on government. And as I told you, when you depend on government, things don't go the way you want. So the government policy is in one direction. Tomorrow, somebody will come and talk something else. Huge investment of 25,000 crore, 30,000 crore is required. It's very difficult to manage these things. Start doing system design.
Okay.
In fact, what I have gone and told, today, you know, for example, I work on electric vehicles. There are e-rickshaw. Every motor and controller is imported.
Correct.
I went and talked to TI and to Analog Devices and to ST, saying that in this motor and controller, what components do you have? These all come from China. They say, we don't have any components. The Chinese have fabricated their own chips. I say, become my partner. I will design in next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. I will see to it that every motor and controller is made in India at a price comparable to that of Chinese import, but quality will be better. I tell TI people, I went to the top chairman of TI and say, partner with us, give me the best price. We will give you the volume. We will give you tens of millions of volume. In Chinese product, you won't get the volume. You won't get anything because anyway, they're not going to use your component. So I've co-opted them as my.
I think it's.
We may have lost connection. So.
Maybe we can, somebody from IIT can, Sina can help.
we'll get it fabricated elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we have to go creating enough demand. Today, if you make a IC, who will use it? Because there is no designer who has used your IC. So I think we'll have to go step by step.
Step by step. So starting with the system design, that's the problem.
System design, and that's what therefore we are trying to do.
Okay, thank you.
Now there is one question from Mr. Shantanu. Is it okay? Do you have time? Can we
go ahead? Last question, please.
Sure. Mr.
I have a
Shantanu,
meeting at 7 o'clock. So.
Sure. Mr. Shantanu, would you like to unmute yourself and ask?
He had written a question. Can you speak?
Yeah, I'll just read that out. So he basically says, how does a deep tech R&D defense startup with high initial investment and large product development secure an investment?
Slow. How does a deep tech R&D defense startup with high initial investment and large product development timeline shall secure an investment? You know, I mentioned this. Whenever you have a large initial investment and large productive time frame, do it along with a R&D lab like IIT. We can get government funds for doing that. Let the incubator work with us. And it may take 3 to 4 years to get to a stage. That time incubator should not look at spending his own money. And then when the product is getting nearly ready, moves out, create a startup, pay us some royalty for that and commercialize it. I hope Shantanu's question I've been able to answer.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much for your enlightening talk and all the discussion. A lot we have learned, and more importantly, to keep on learning and be open to learning and learn to learn. So request Mr. Rajshekharan to kindly say a few words.
I wanted to thank Rajshekharan for inviting me, and thanks. It was great to meet all of you.
So, Professor, I have a couple of points, more as, thanks to your great initiative of the IIT Research Park and invitation from Vishi, I am one of the regular mentors, who go to the Friday clinics and help. My observations are two in nature, sir. One is whenever I ask this question to a startup saying that, what's your market size, what's your segment, and where do you want to focus? They're not able to answer this. Second point, sir, is what is your cost and what is your price? They're not able to do. I think these are, but let me tell you, sir, the kind of startups they have, they're technologically very well advanced. Yeah. They think technology, they think product, but I think these are the two areas in my assessment, which I think we can help them a lot. So the last point which I want to make is Business Clinic has got over 25 advisors and we have another 20 odd. So I'm saying if you can nominate somebody to work with us, we will put together a team of mentors who can work with you, sir. Thank you so much.
We will love to have mentors. I think the 2 points that you made, in fact, in our 10X, which I have not gone through, I told them, first thing that you must understand, what is the market size and at what price point? Market size will vary on price point. You make it a high price product, market size is small. You make it lower price. So that's the first thing that they need to figure out. The second thing that I said, you must understand the total cost of production, of unit production, including finance charges, including cost of manufacturing, cost of raw material, cost of utilities, cost of manpower, cost of R&D. You must take the R&D and apportion it over the years. You have to take all the machinery, etc., create the depreciation, interest rate. All this has to be done. If you fail to do that, you cannot win. This is something that we keep on emphasizing. Many of our entrepreneurs are first-time entrepreneurs. They've just got out of college. They have to learn every single thing. Sure. It is up to us to make them win. They cannot win on their own. Thank you. They are good learners, fast learners. That's all that I can say. We have to push them. Thank you very much. And thank you and thank the whole group for calling me. I'm signing off.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending and participating in the session. Thank you so much.